Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a inspired by my wishlist video. These videos I do every once in a while when something catches my interest and I know I'm not gonna buy it. First of all, I'm on an eyeshadow low buy, pretty much no buy at this point, and I'm also not really in the market for I think roughly $60 eyeshadow palette. So today we are doing a look that is heavily inspired by the Melt Cosmetics Mary Jane palettes. I will put up a picture right now of the palette starring the shades that I will be using, or shades that are equivalent to what I'll be using. I think with this look, I'm going to keep largely to the left half of the palette. I'm thinking I'm going to go with sort of a khaki toned smoky eye. I think that'll be really pretty, and I am excited to get into it. So let's do that. I think that I'm going to start with some sort of olive toned eyeshadow. I'm going to mix some of this green. This is just a little more green than I really want. I'm going to mix that with sort of a golden brown, this really dirty gold eyeshadow. I made this ages ago by mixing actually quite a few different shades from Sleek together. And I already have my eyelids primed and I've set down my eyeshadow primer, so I'm just going to apply that with my finger. Yeah, I like that color. I think that turned out really well. What I really like about the Smoke Show palette, not the Smoke Show palette, the Mary Jane palette from what I have seen, is that it's a smoky palette, but it still looks like Melt Cosmetics. It has that really grungy green and sort of camel colors that they really like to pull into a lot of their palettes. I just think it is such an interesting updated take on a smoky palette. Not still dark, still sort of taupey gray, but not in the blue-based way that, say, the Urban Decay Naked Smoky or so many various drugstore quads over the years, and high-end quads for that matter, have been smoky, where it's just like black, true middle-of-the-road gray, sometimes verging on blue, maybe a silver, and then something light, maybe a white, maybe just something sparkly. Okay. Honestly, I feel like I could almost just leave it as is and be happy with the look. I'm also wondering if my lighting is not the best. I will try turning on my ring light and see if that helps matter. I think that helped. Let me know one way or the other, and I will take that into account when I'm setting up in the future. Okay, so now that we've got that base color down, I think I want to add some of this sort of camel, this very yellowy brown shade right here. I feel like this is the classic Melt Cosmetics color. I feel like this is incorporated in so many of their various palettes, especially Gemini. I feel like Gemini is just built around this type of shade. I'm gonna put that in the crease, and then I'm gonna blend it upwards. I'm not going super smoky today, just because it's like 11 a.m. as I'm filming this, but it's the morning still. I haven't accomplished anything yet today, so it feels very early for me. I was sitting this morning listening to some music and I was realizing, like, a year ago, I thought that this whole pandemic and everything would be done by August. Because I remember I was thinking about buying some tickets to a Harry Styles concert. And it was happening either, maybe it was August or September it was going to happen. And I still thought that there was a good chance that that was a realistic possibility for me. But looking back now, that just seems so incredibly, incredibly naive of me to think we would just be out of this by, you know, September of 2020. And here it is, it's April. It's still in my house. I'm going to put the same mixture of that green and the gold on my lower lash line. I'm going to use a smudger brush for that. I'm going to try to get not too off topic today to struggle. Oof. I got a little bit of something in my eye as I was doing that, so. Ouch. Okay. It's a lot for, morning, but I like it. I like where this is at. And I think that I'm going to use this sort of green toned light gold, this shade. And I'm going to just take that again on a finger. I'm going to layer that over probably the first third of my lid, the inner third of my lid. Just really lighten that up and sort of get an interesting little gradient from light to dark going on my eye. I think I could use just a little bit more on this side. I will have the products that I use listed down in the description box. Obviously though, the point of this video is that you don't need the exact products to get very similar looks, so, don't feel too bound by whatever I list. I'm taking just a totally clean brush. Well, totally is a stretch, but a more or less clean brush, and just going over all the edges, making sure everything is blended in. Okay. Have a little bit of glitter fallout, but I'm fine with that. I think that is the eyeshadow at least done, though maybe I want to add just a little bit of liner. Yes. And for that, I think I'm going to reach in to this brown. I think the one in the Melt palette is just a little bit darker and a little bit more neutral to cool toned. This is just a hair on the warm side. And I'm going to pull that right along the upper lash line on a liner brush. Yeah, I think I like the extra definition that that's giving me. Okay, so I'm liking where all of this is at. Now I'm going to add some mascara and figure out what the rest of my face is going to look like, and we will be back in just a second to go through that. Okay, so I've got my mascara on, and now I think I'm going to go in with some blush and some bronzer. I've pulled this quite peachy blush. Why am I having such a hard time opening this? There we are. This is from Wet n Wild, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of NARS Laguna. This is the birthday gift from Sephora this year, and I haven't actually used it yet. I just got this yesterday in the mail. Here's what that looks like. I think that this will go really well with the eye look because it is so yellow toned. At least that is my hope. So I've just mixed the two of those together on a blush brush. I'm going to apply to my cheeks, over the bridge of my nose, and then I'm going to go back into Laguna. Did I call it Orgasm earlier? It's Laguna. Orgasm is not a bronzer. I'm going to just put that on my forehead, along the perimeter of my face, and then down my neck a little bit. Okay, I like that. I don't know how much that is going to show up on someone who's much deeper than me, though I'm sure you could build it up to some degree, but yeah, kind of a questionable choice, I think, to put as the birthday gift, though I guess there are other choices. Anyway, I think we're done with that. I didn't actually pull it, but I decided what I was going to use. I think I'm going to use this Hummingbird Hype highlighter from Wet n Wild again. This is looking very peachy on camera. In real life, when it is applied, you see a lot of gold coming through in it. And I'm going to take that on a highlighting brush, if I can find it. Right here. Just gonna get some of that. I'm gonna put it sort of in this area, just right along this line and then down on my cheekbone. I like how I say line as I'm making a curve with my hand. Sort of along whatever this bone is called. Sort of right across my temple and then down. And I think you can see how golden that turns out when it is on the skin. It's right there. Okay, so we're getting very close. And for my lips, I think I'm going to, again, do some mixing. I'm going to start out with this really nude lipstick from Dior. It's a little bit on the peachy side. And I think that looks fine, but because I really want to lean into the sort of grunginess that Melt and the Mary Jane palette are trying to give us, I think I'm going to top it off with a little bit of this Bite Beauty Sazerac crayon. This is a little bit more brown, it's a little deeper, and it also has a little bit of a yellowy tone to it. Yeah, I like where that is at. Okay, so I think that is the finished look. What do we think? I think that this is definitely giving the right vibes of the Mary Jane palette. I think it's really pretty. I am not going to purchase this palette. As I mentioned before, I'm on a eyeshadow low buy, so it's just out of the question for me. Also, not a huge fan of the theme, but not a deciding factor in either direction. I love the colors. I think that at some point I will probably play around with tones that are similar to the right half of the palette. Those sort of very taupey neutrals that are a little bit more cool toned, whereas the other half of the palette was a little bit warmer. I really like this. I think it's pretty. I think that I could make a lot of other pretty looks with not exactly that palette, but shades from my own collection that I've pulled using inspiration from that palette. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you consider liking and subscribing if you did. I'm looking forward to next time already. See ya!